All right, guys, here's a situation that I've been having with my 2012 Subaru Outback, and I think it may have come this way from the factory, but it's been a problem for me. I didn't realize it was a problem years ago. This car has had a blown head gasket, a blown transmission, it's got a bad catalytic converter, and I think it all stems from the fact that these fans were not working properly. This one always turned. This one only turned on startup, and I never really saw it turn again. But I didn't know that was a problem initially. Once I blew my head gasket, I started wondering, what's going on with it, watching the fans. It had these RC5101 Mitsuba relays for the fan relays, okay? And the fan relays you can find if you're looking at the front of the car here. It's on the right hand side. Here's all your fuses and your relays right in here, okay? And the fan relays and the sub-fan relays are here. So you can see this gray one, RC5101. It's like $30 at the Subaru dealership. Okay, and it seems like it's been phased out or something, like you can't really find them very easily. They're not readily available. This relay right here is supposed to be the daytime running lamps, I believe, and then this one was the main fan relay, and one of these was the sub fan relay. Well, that fan over there on the passenger side of the radiator is the sub fan. And that one is supposed to be running. Apparently, it's hard to find out, it's hard to find a straight story, but I think it's supposed to be running anytime the AC is on. So our AC has not worked in this car. We bought this car with around 50,000 miles on it. The AC has never worked in this car very well. When it is at a standstill at a red light or whatever, I mean, it would literally blow warm air. I took it to the dealership and asked them about why the AC wasn't working, and they just said, oh yeah, a lot of people complain about the ACs in this car. Well, maybe a lot of people had the problem I had. I don't know. That fan over there, so I've had this car for 12 years now. I don't think that fan over there ever worked properly. And I think that's probably why the head gasket blew. The guy who I had do my head gasket messed up a lot of stuff, left some vacuum leaks that I had to go back and fix myself. Topped off this, when he split the motor from the transmission, he topped it off with other than Subaru fluid, even though I asked him specifically for Subaru fluid. And shortly thereafter, like 10,000 miles later, the transmission blew. So I feel like if the head gasket hadn't blown, he hadn't mixed the fluids, the transmission wouldn't have blown. Anyway, I had already taken that daytime running lamp relay and swapped it with the main fan relay to see if the relays were bad, to see if that relay for the fan was bad, and that's why it wasn't operating the way that I expected it to, even though I wasn't 100% sure how it should operate. Well, it didn't fix it, and I swapped them multiple times, and I always thought it was the sub-fan relay that was the problem. Well, now, recently, there's been more posts online about how those fans should operate and how the electrical system in the car operates. And it seems that on low speed, the sub fan does go through the sub fan relay. And somebody can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about the electrical system. I don't know. I'm going to tell you what worked for me. The sub fan, I think, goes through the sub fan relay when it's on low, and the main fan goes through the main fan relay. Once those two fans are supposed to switch to high speed, then they both go through the main fan relay. And I think that's why when I first started up the car, that fan would turn for 10, 15 seconds, and then it would shut off, and this one over here would speed up. It was because it was switching into high speed, and that one was not getting the power that it needed to be at high speed. The fan spun freely. I could tell that it was spinning on startup, so I was like, well, I guess the fan isn't a problem. I swapped the relays. They didn't fix it, so I was like, well, maybe the relays aren't a problem. So I just didn't know that there was actually a problem at all. It wasn't quite obvious. When I went to pull this RC5101 relay out, and I had to use a pair of pliers because they were jammed out, the top comes off of it and just exposes all the relay parts. So it was broken. So at that point I had to get new relays. And I was like, well, I can't find this RC5101 for, you know, and the car was, I thought the car was almost toast because it was overheating and everything. So I didn't want to go out and buy, you know, random $30 relays just to see if it would work. I couldn't find any information. These relays here are aftermarket, but they're RC5102s. And I couldn't find any information as to if that RC5102, and I will link it down below. I'll link that relay down below in case you want to try it too. I couldn't find any information on if the RC5102 replaced the RC5101. But I bought them anyway. I got 2 of them for like 20 bucks on Amazon. Put them both in because I had torn up both relays trying to pull them out. And now both those fans crank on high speed. Car isn't overheating. So as far as I'm concerned, those RC5102s replaced this RC5101. I can't tell you that for sure with your car. I don't know about the way that the relays are set up inside. There's not much information to be found on this Mitsuba 5101 relay, but I did want to let people know, if you're having problems with that subfan over there not working properly, you cannot rely on just swapping the relays back and forth like what you would normally do to see if a relay is any good. And because I don't know if these were ever the right relays. That coming from the factory, it might have been the wrong relays. I don't know. But putting in the RC5102 relays got that fan over there working the way that it should have been working for the last 12 years. And so, you know, if you are having a problem with that fan over there and it spins freely and maybe it fires up right on startup and it doesn't work after that, just do yourself a favor and buy a brand new relay to put in there. And I mean, honestly, I don't even know if you bought a 5101 if it would work properly. So if I were you and the car wasn't worth that much, I would run the risk. I did run the risk of just putting in the 5102s, and now that fan works properly. So I hope that I help you out. I hope I prevent a blown head gasket from you. I hope I take a car that you were just about done with and getting rid of because it was overheating and help you out. That's going to help your air conditioner, and it's going to help your engine heat, and you know, maybe that can save you thousands of dollars. So let me know in the comments below if you know of anything wrong that I'm doing. But I've put about 1,000 miles on this car since I did this, and it's running, you know, better than it did before I did it, for sure.